Patrick Stewart's longest-running role makes his absence from this sci-fi show even more confusing. Patrick Stewart is a name that has become synonymous with science fiction. For decades, his commanding presence and nuanced performances have anchored some of the most iconic stories in the genre. From the bridge of the USS Enterprise to countless appearances in Star Trek conventions and fan works, Stewart's career is intertwined with science fiction in a way few actors can claim. So when fans notice his conspicuous absence from a recent high-profile series within the same universe, the confusion is palpable and frustrating. Stewart's legacy in sci-fi is difficult to overstate. His portrayal of Captain Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek The Next Generation TNG for 7 seasons established him as a cultural touchstone. The series itself became a beacon of thoughtful, morally complex storytelling, in no small part due to Stewart's gravitas and charisma. Even after TNG ended in 1994, Stewart returned to the role repeatedly, from Star Trek Nemesis to the recent Star Trek Picard, demonstrating not only his enduring commitment to the character, but also the audience's unrelenting appetite for him. It is, without question, Stewart's longest-running and most celebrated role. Given that history, Stewart's absence from other series within the Star Trek universe seems perplexing. Consider Star Trek Strange New Worlds, a show designed as a prequel to the original series and now a cornerstone of Paramount's Star Trek strategy. The series is full of callbacks, deep-cut references, and careful nods to the broader Star Trek lore. Yet Stewart's Jean-Luc Picard is entirely absent. On paper, it would make sense for him to appear, even in a cameo, given the interconnected timelines and the show's frequent exploration of Starfleet history. Fans have waited eagerly for just a hint of his presence. But so far, that opportunity has remained elusive. One could argue that the timeline of Strange New Worlds precedes the events of TNG by decades, making a physical appearance by Picard impossible. Yet this reasoning doesn't fully hold. Star Trek has a long history of creative workarounds. Time travel, holodeck simulations, and voice cameos have all been used to include characters outside their chronological boundaries. Stewart himself has previously expressed openness to reprising Picard in inventive ways that don't require strict adherence to linear storytelling. That makes his absence not just understandable, but puzzling. The showrunners have repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to embrace Star Trek's playful, flexible approach to canon. Yet here, one of the franchise's most iconic figures is left off the stage. There's also the element of audience expectation. Stewart's Picard is arguably the linchpin of Star Trek fandom. His very name carries weight. When a major new series in the franchise launches, viewers naturally anticipate at least a symbolic acknowledgement of him. Even a passing reference, a historical record, or a background cameo could have created a moment of recognition and excitement. The decision to omit him entirely feels like a missed opportunity to bridge the generational gap between original fans and new viewers discovering the franchise through Strange New Worlds. The absence becomes even more striking when considering Stewart's willingness to engage with the franchise in other, sometimes unconventional, capacities. Beyond on-screen performances, he has participated in interviews, fan events, and even audiobook projects that expand the Star Trek universe. Stewart's dedication suggests that the barrier to his appearance is not personal disinterest. Instead, it likely stems from creative choices or logistical limitations that remain opaque to fans. Yet, the absence still carries a weighty narrative silence. In a series built on exploration and interconnected storytelling, leaving Stewart out creates an oddly noticeable gap. Moreover, Stewart's absence underlines a broader trend in contemporary science fiction, the balancing act between nostalgia and innovation. Shows like Strange New Worlds are caught between appealing to longtime fans and cultivating new ones. Featuring Stewart might delight veteran viewers, but it also risks overshadowing the series' newer characters and storylines. Conversely, not including him risks alienating core fans who have followed his work for decades. It's a delicate tension, and in this case, Stewart's absence highlights just how high the stakes are when handling such a beloved figure. Ultimately, the mystery of Patrick Stewart's absence is emblematic of both his influence and the evolving nature of the Star Trek universe. It's not simply about one actor missing from a show. It's about how a franchise manages its history, its fan base, and its storytelling priorities. Stewart's contributions have set a standard so high that any omission feels conspicuous, even if justified by narrative constraints. His absence serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of a single performer and the impossible expectations placed on modern sci-fi storytelling. For fans, the hope remains that Stewart might still appear in some capacity, whether through a clever temporal twist,